What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we'll be talking about strings. Strings are very important and very useful in Python. So let's get right into it. Well, what is a string? Well, a string is just a sequence of characters, and it's defined by quotation marks. In Python, you can use both double quotation marks or single quotation marks to define a string. In some programming languages, it is not always like that. Like in Java, for example, one quotation mark is not a string. In Python, you can define a string with either a single or double quotation marks. To show you what I mean by that, let's just define a variable. Let's call it name, and my name is Amari. So you can see I'm assigning this value. Amari is defined in double quotation marks. I could do my name is Amari with single quotation marks. It doesn't matter. I like to do double quotation marks. So this is defining a string. It's a sequence of characters. It can be one word, it can be one character, it can be multiple words. And yeah, just know that it has to be defined within quotation marks. You can do a lot of things with strings. First thing I'll talk about is indexes. So you see, I have my name here. Each character is an index. So the letter A, the capital A, is index 0. So when we talk in Python, when you define a string, the first character in a string always starts at index 0. The second character is index 1, so on. The last character, in this case, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, it is index 4. It is also index -1. So this is -1, R is -2, A is -3, M is -4. To show you what I mean, uh, let's just do, I don't know, first underscore index equals, and what we can do to get an index, we can do name and then bracket the index, okay? So actually, let me not make variable. Let me just print this. So this is gonna print the letter A of name. So the first index of name. The first index is index 0, okay? So if we print this, it's just gonna print A. And again, we can print again the second character or the first index is M. So just going to the characters, and like I mentioned earlier, the last index is index -1. Okay, so that's I. -2 would be R. So you can traverse the string forwards. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can do -1, -2, -3, -4, so on. Okay, so that's just remembering that each character in a string is an index. Uh, we can also slice strings. So what do I mean by that? Well, we can gather certain parts of a string just by taking the index. So to slice a string, you're gonna put. So for this example, I can slice a string from the first index. Okay, so this is index 1, and I can say let's try slice it to the fourth index. So what do I mean by this? Well, it's going to take the first index, the second index, and the third index. So it's going to take mar, M-A-R. You notice that it does not include the I. So when we're slicing like this, we're slicing from the start, uh, uh, colon, to the stop, not inclusive. It is not including the stop. Okay? So if I did want to include the I just slice to the fifth index. There is no fifth index. So this is not inclusive. Start, stop, non-inclusive. Okay. We can just slice to the stop. So we don't have to include a start. We can just get the whole string by doing that. we can choose. So we can choose where we want to start and stop. We don't have to include the stop as well. So we can slice like this. So slice from the second index onward. We can slice from onward to a certain index like we just did. So there are many ways to slice. We can even slice backwards. So like I mentioned that we can do that we have negative indexes starting from the back. We can slice, oops, not do key, mistake. So we can slice from -3 to -1. So let's slice from AR, and remember it's not including the -1. It does not include the stop, okay? So the stop is not inclusive. So if you want to ever gather certain parts of a string, you can do that by slicing the string. Next thing I'll talk about is methods. So there are a lot of methods that you can use on strings, which just means that you can like modify the strings and whatnot. I'll include a link in the description of basically all the methods or a lot of the common methods that are used on strings. The ones I say that I'll use the most are upper and lower. So uh, let's just say, let's just keep the name. We can do name dot upper. So this is gonna, it says here, return a copy of the string converted to uppercase. So now Amari is gonna be in all uppercase, as you can see at the bottom of the screen here. Let me actually clear the console. So let's run that again. And we can comment this out since we're not working with slicing anymore. So we can print a string in all uppercase. We can, so dot upper is all uppercase, dot lower is all lowercase. So that can be useful when we're talking about user inputs. That can be useful to use upper and lower, just in case a user inputs something, we can convert it to all lowercase. We can also get the length of a string. So we can do length and then name. So this should be 5. So we can get the length of a string. That's also a very useful method. Yeah, there are a lot of methods. I won't go over all of them. I will say that we can strip a string. This is the last one I'll go over. So if I do this, say for some reason I have a string like this, what if I don't want that? I can print name.strip and it will just strip the string. So notice that it's 13. We can name.strip it, and then actually we can do length of name.strip. So notice that at first it has all this white space. We print it, it's 13 characters. We strip it here, and then we print the length of that, and now it's only 5. Okay, so if there's ever any white space that you don't want, you can strip a string. So that can be useful as well. There's also string concatenation. So let's just get rid of all of this. Hope you guys are doing good. There's a lot to work with strings. Uh, if you're having trouble, just go back and review the video. Make sure you get this down. Strings are very important. And take time, play with it, look at different methods, and just get comfortable using strings. So let's do my first name. Let's just change this to John. So you can have first name John. Let's make a variable called last name equals Doe. So John Doe. We can concatenate the string. What does concatenate mean? concatenate just means joining two strings together. Okay? So we have first name John. So we can do fit first name. To concatenate, we just use the plus symbol. First name underscore last name. So this is gonna print. This is actually gonna be weird. It's gonna print John Doe. And it's gonna have no spaces. So here we have John Doe with no space. That's not what we want to do. So in order to do that, we can just add another string. It's important to understand that you can only concatenate strings together. Okay, so you cannot concatenate a string in an int, for example. So now we have John Doe with a space. If we try to concatenate, so instead of putting last name, if we try to do like 17, for example, we can't do that. We're gonna get an error. Type error can only concatenate string to string. Now we can work around this by converting this to a string. So all this does is it converts this 17 to a string so that we can concatenate it. Okay, so now we have jump 17. Okay, the last thing I'll touch on is string formatting. I love string formatting personally. It makes things easier for me. Uh, so like we did before, this is string concatenation. We do this. There's another way we can do this. And let's actually add a variable called age. John Doe is 21 years old. He's of legal age. So instead of doing this, instead of having this plus and then space and then last name, we can do something called string formatting. So string formatting, it allows us to put methods or functions or whatever inside of a string. So what I mean by this is, if I have a string here and I just wanted to do, let's just, for example, put the first name and then last name and then is age. Well, we can do that by putting an F. So to do string formatting, we put an F, and then whatever I guess variable or method we want to do inside of the string, we can put that in curly brackets. So now look, now first name is in the string now. Same thing with last name, and then we can do this with age. So now instead of concatenating the strings, we're literally putting the variables inside of the string by putting this F keyword at the front and then putting what we want to do inside of curly brackets. Okay, so it's the same thing as doing string concatenation, but we're just formatting it. Okay, so that's actually pretty cool. I find that cool. I think it saves time and it's readable. So I like that. Uh, I think that's all we're going to touch on for strings for today. If you enjoyed the video, if you learned something, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. In the next video, we're talking about inbuilt data structures in Python. So that's list, dictionaries, tuples, sets. Those are very important as well. You don't want to miss it. So hopefully you check that out. And I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.